Hey, what's up? Creative writing. This is the last one of these I'm going to make this quarter. And of course, I'm not adding anything new to the assignment, although I will post one final step where you actually turn in the last part. So just a quick review of the situation. We have, let's look at the calendar here. We have this week, and it's the last full normal week. It's e-learning, but we're still doing everything according to plan. And I'm aiming to get stuff done by Friday, November 20th. Of course, if you turn something in afterwards, I'll take it. But I'm going to put in the grades on that day, including zeros for the stuff I don't have. And then afterwards, if you turn it in or you fix something, your grade can go up. But it won't go down. It won't be like I leave something blank and then put in a 0 at the end, and then people feel like they got surprised in some way. So afterwards, I will talk to people individually, maybe send something back and ask for revision, or maybe check with people and say, hey, you didn't turn in something at all. Or maybe I'll post one little sort of optional extra fun thing. Some classes will be sharing their stuff or something like that. However, in general, we're targeting this day for final big stuff if there's a test or whatever. Now, you got to check with other teachers. They might have a different plan. But anyway, for this class, we have our story. And you see I've got a draft. I'm going to post the final part today. And it's going to say a couple things. It's going to say, you're going to take this plan and write it in a full story. But I'm just calling it a draft. I'm not calling it first draft or final draft because we are a little low on time and we're just doing these things once this quarter. You won't be able to revise it again and again fully. This is going to say, 1, it's a non-linear story, so it's got to have a flashback, flash forward, or other type of jump in time or point of view. We've seen examples. In fact, we've done nothing but examples of that this quarter, and I've shown a million, and I don't need to get into that again. If you're unsure, you can go to this examples assignment or the plan, or I did a video right here where I went over an example from a movie and compared how they did it and then my guess of why they did it that way. So plenty of info. I don't have to recap it again. The second criteria will be length, 500 words. That's really tiny, and most of you are going to do way more. But I wanted to have a minimum that was doable, that nobody is going to be struggling to hit. You can get 500. Some people have the 500 words just with their plan, just with their outline before they expand it. So feel free to go way higher. You can do 5,000 if you want. That's still not that long. That's like, one chapter of a novel or something. But again, I just wanted it to be doable. Third criterion is, does it have the elements of a good story, of a good plot that we covered in quarter 1? So you got a character with a motivation. 2, you've got a problem where they can't achieve what they want right away. Maybe they try and somebody else gets it, or there's obstacles, or they have internal struggles, etc., etc. We've seen this. And then 3 is there's some kind of resolution where the character changes or the situation changes, good or bad or weird. It doesn't have to be any certain type of ending, but there's some type of resolution where things are past the point of no return and they don't just have no reason to exist at all. So there you go. Those are 3 big categories. The last 2, I'm going to have 2 more categories that are just absolute general writing stuff that you would have on everything we do, which is 4, criteria 4 is going to be general proofreading for what we call conventions, spelling, grammar, punctuation, that type of stuff. Obviously, when we're doing fiction, you have artistic license. You might have characters speak in a way that's not correct. That's fine. You might have characters sort of labeled in in strange ways. Like you might have one, especially with the nonlinear flashback stuff, I've seen some of you guys, and I've suggested some of you guys do like one timeline in one font and another one in a different font or something like that. Totally fine. But you still want it to look good and be just pretty, and just make sure everything is arranged the way it should be. And of course, I'll suggest when I look at your doc, I'll say, ooh, you know, space this, capitalize this, whatever. And that brings us to the very last point, which is another general thing, which is edit your thing according to the comment, according to the feedback you get. So for a lot of people, I've been going back and forth, and I've seen your thing earlier, and I've said, hey, why don't you do this? And you've sent it back, and I said, ooh, what about this? This isn't my story, and you don't have to do exactly what I do, but you should respond to it in some way. For example, if I've told you that some part is unclear, well, you can change it in a lot of ways to make it clear. You don't have to do exactly what I suggest, but you wouldn't just want to leave it unclear. Or, you know, for example, on one person, I told them that they had two characters that were the same, like two characters that had similar personality and similar names even. And so there are a lot of ways that person could fix that. Maybe you can combine them into one so you don't need both. Or maybe you could change one to have a different name and a different role, or maybe you could change the other one. There are, of course, infinite ways to solve that problem, but you want to solve the problem and not just leave it. So anyway, there you go. Sorry I don't have this typed out yet to show it on screen, but I will in a few minutes. You got nonlinear, flashback, flash forward, something like that. Is it minimum length, 500? It will be, don't worry. Is it following the good elements of a plot, beginning, middle, end? We talked about that literally since day one, so you should be all right. Does it have good conventions and spelling, grammar, etc.? And then is it responding to comments and feedback along the way? We haven't done a partner one this time. You haven't shared with a partner, so in this case, the feedback is just me. But you should all get it, and I'll check again, of course, as we go for the ones I haven't gotten to. So that's it. I don't want to make this video too long. As I said, I will grade them on Friday, but you can turn it in afterwards. I'll totally take it. Just remind me if you do. You know, you might send an email or post a comment on Classroom and say, hey, I turned this in. Can you check it? Because I don't always get a notification if you just attach a doc. So that's it. Thanks.